So now we've created our customer with demographics data frame by joining the customer data frame with the demographics data frame. Now, as we can see in this sample query, every customer has a certain credit level, a certain credit rating level. It can be good or something else. So we would like to know what are the different credit ratings that a customer can have. So we need distinct value that the credit rating column can contain. To do that, we will use a method on the data frame named distinct. This allows us to get the distinct value that are available in a specific column. So add a new cell here, and then customer with demographics dot select. We need this column, and we would like to have only the distinct unique values available in the credit ratings field. So dot show. So now we can see that there are 4 levels of credit ratings from low risk, good, unknown to high risk. So with the distinct method on a data frame, you get unique values available in a specific column. We can also use the same operation to get the unique first name that are available in our data frame. For example, let's copy this value and put it there. And this will return us the first 20 unique first name available in our data frame. So what we are interested in now is the credit ratings. So let's go back to that. So now we would like to know how many customers fall into each credit level. So we would like to know how many customers have a good credit level, how many of them have a high risk, and so on. To do that, we use an operation called group by. And before I show you how you can do group by with Apache Spark, let me first explain you how the group by operation works in Apache Spark, or even if you are doing SQL. For that, let's go back here to OneNote, and I already prepared something here. So given a data frame like this, where we have different credit ratings like good, bad, and high risk, we would like at the end to have a data frame like this one below, where we want to know how many customers have a good credit rating, how many of them have a bad credit rating, and how many of them have a high risk credit rating based on this customer data frame. So given a data frame like that, we have the group by operation has two different phases. First, we will create groups based on the credit rating. So if we then do something like this, customer df dot group by, and then we specify the credit rating. This will first create groups, and in every group we will have our customer. So in this case, this will create. So for the good, we will have the customer with ID 1, the customer with ID 3, and the customer with ID 5. The group with bad will have the customer with ID 2 and the customer with ID 6. And the high risk group will only have one customer. So when we apply the group by on a data frame, it first create group based on what we specified in the group by clause. Now, after we create our groups, we can then apply aggregation on those groups. What I mean by that, so after we have done customer data frame group by the credit ratings, first we will get groups, so where we have good, bad, and high rating, and each group will then contain all the customer that fall into that group. Next, we like to count how many customers are in each group to obtain our result data frame down here. So from the group by credit rating data frame, we can then apply the method dot count, and this method will then move along and say, okay, for the good data frame I have 1, 2, 3, and therefore we will have 3 here, and the bad one 1, 2, and we will have 2 here, and here only one customer. So the group by works in 2 phases. This is phase 1. We first created the groups, and phase 2 we can then do aggregation on the groups that we created. This can be any type of aggregation. Later we will learn more about aggregations. So for now, the only aggregation we are interested in is the count one. And when we apply count on a group, it gave us the number of items in every group. So that's how the group by operation works. It created groups, and then we can operate it on those groups. In our case, we created groups of credit ratings and count the number of customers in each group. So let's see how we can do this in Apache Spark. So let's go back to Databricks. So now we are back in our Databricks environment, and we would like to create a data frame that contains only groups of credit ratings with customer. So we put a new cell here, and then customer with demographics dot group by. We want to create groups based on the credit ratings field, group by credit ratings, and we want to count the number of customers available in each group. Let us create a variable out of it. Let's say credit profile. Let's call it credit profile equal that customer with demographics group by credit ratings and count. Let us execute this, and it returns a data frame with a column that contains the credit ratings and the number of customers available in each group. Let us take a look into our credit profile. Now I will introduce a new function that is available between the Databricks environment, and it can allow us to display information about a data frame in a nicer way. So we can do the method is display, and we will say display the credit profile data frame. Display credit, okay, profile. Now you can see this is the result of our group operation. We have the credit group, and we have the number of customer available in each group. So this is how we can group element from a data frame based on a given column. Next, as you can see here, after we've done the grouping, it automatically put a columns here called count. That doesn't really mean anything to us. We can rename this column by, you already know how we can do it. We can apply the with column rename method here, and we say we want to rename the count, so the column count to customer count, and we will also like to rename the column CD credit rating to credit rating dot with column rename CD credit rating shall become credit rating. We execute this one and then we refresh our cell, run the cell again, and now you can see that the credit, we rename the credit ratings field as credit rating and the count as customer count. That way you can easily see that for the credit rating low risk, there are 24,133 customers. Next, we will also create another aggregation where we will like to see what is the purchase estimate of every customer. So how much we think a customer can spend. And to do that, we will also use the group by method. So now let's create an aggregation that shows us what are the different level of customer purchases. So first, let me see what's the column name. For that, we use our customer with demographics dot columns, and this is it. This is the column we are interested in. So we will group, let's say we create val customer purchase levels equal customer with demographics dot group by this one, and we'd like to count and execute it. Now we can also use the display method of the Databricks environment to show us how this looks like. Purchase level. Execute that. Okay, here we can see that there are around 4,712 customers that have a purchase estimate of $3,000. This means that we think that for $3,000 we have around 4,712 customers that can't afford to spend that much money. And when we scroll down here, you can see that there are different estimated, and each estimate has a different number of customer. So when we use the display method, we have multiple choices how we want to view our data. So in this case, we can create a bar chart that shows us the different level of customer estimated. For that, we click here and the data will be displayed to us as bar chart. We can change the representation by going to the plot option. And here we will remove, you can remove a key by, so as you can see here, the key is the x-axis and the values are the count are the y-axis. So we will like to know how many, we will want to display on the y-axis the number of customer. So we will remove here, push the count up there, and we want to know how much they can purchase, so we will put the purchase down here. And then it gives us a nice bar graph where we can then see that for every estimate how many customers are available to us. Now we can do apply here and we have a nice bar chart. Now we know that for around $18,500 there is about 4,760 customers that can afford to spend that much money, and there are only 1,500 4,847 customers that can afford to spend up to $1,500. So this is how we can group information based on a given field, and when we use the display method available within the Databricks environment, we have multiple possibilities to display our data. So you can also change this to a pie chart if it makes sense. So you have different possibility here to visualize our data, and we will learn more about them with time. So let's go back to the bar chart, and this is how it looks like. So next we will then create our final data frame that contains